What's up, guys? Welcome back to C&W Motorsports. Well, I still haven't really decided. Um, I don't really have many subscribers. I'm not really sure. I'm going to say probably between 10, 15, at most maybe 20. But I highly doubt it. But anyway, if any of y'all actually watch this, you should let me know. Should I leave it at Self Taught Garage or C&W Motorsports? Because we've started a business. Work on razors, ATVs, side-by-sides. You know, small engines. Really, we'll work on whatever you got that needs worked on, but primarily we focus on razors, ATVs, dirt bikes, motorcycles. With the name, like I said, between changing it to C&W Motorsports because of the business or leaving it as Self-Taught Garage, mainly just because I like the name Self-Taught Garage, where I was primarily self-taught. So, I mean, I guess some of y'all can let me know in the comments. But anyways, like I said, today I was planning on doing the 7.3 project, and I was starting to do something for the camera. I was going to make a little camera mount on the welding cart because I'm going to be messing with the exhaust today on the truck. It's got quite a few issues with the exhaust, but I guess the biggest one is the downpipe separated from the rest of the exhaust. The rest of the exhaust needs to be finished welded. I bought it this way. I haven't messed with it. I took the stack out and made it a straight pipe, but other than that, I really haven't messed with it. But since it all fell out, and something you all don't know is I killed the transfer case in it, so we had to rebuild the transfer case too. So I pulled the exhaust out while I was at it, and I'm going to fix it, mainly because I'm tired of soot getting into the cab. It drives me nuts. Smells horrible. But anyways, pretty much if you drive the truck, you got to have a window down. So that's what we're going to fix. But before we get to that, I thought of a camera mount idea because I have a new tripod. It's one of the Octopus tripods. I can't show it to you because it's holding the camera. But anyways, I bought a Ulanzi, I'm guessing that's how you say it, Octopus tripod. It's for phones and cameras. It can hold up to 8 pounds, I believe. It's got rubber legs. They're very strong, actually. And I mean, I'm using a full-sized video camera with a microphone. So, I mean, it's got some weight to it. But so far, so good. Anyways, we're going to take this tube and I'm going to extend it up off of the welding cart with a pole. It's or not a pole, it's going to be a pole, but it's just a piece of tubing. I don't remember for sure where this tube came from. I believe it was like an old trampoline somebody tore down, and I just grabbed a bunch of the tubing because you never know. You can always use tubing for random things. It's definitely not structural tubing, but it's tubing. So, like I said, I've got an idea. We're going to weld that into the corner of the cart so it can hold the camera while I weld on the exhaust of the 7.3. And I was in the process of doing it, and I was like, you know, I could add this to the video or make it a video all on its own. So, I guess with that being said, I've been talking for 4.5 minutes, almost 4.5 minutes. I think at this point I probably ought to just get going and show you all what's going on. Alright, so this is where I am planning on putting it. My welding cart is an old toolbox that I just made work. It was in better shape initially, but it's been beat to, yeah, it's just been really beat. But anyways, so right here is where I am planning on placing this. I know the lighting isn't the greatest. I apologize. We still need to get another light here in the corner. I ground this so it fit with the dent that's already in the toolbox. There we go. So all I was doing was trying to get it fit the way I ground it. Yeah. Alright, so that's where I'm going to put it. There's just enough spacing for it to hold that tubing tightly in the corner. And as of right now, that's the plan. So I'm going to weld this small piece of square tubing on. And then the round tubing will slide over top of this, and I will make a little, probably use a D-ring to lock it in place so I can put it on and take it off depending on what I'm doing. So, with that being said, I've already prepped the area, like I said, because I started before I decided to film it. But at this point, I'm ready to weld, so I'm going to tack it up, make sure the tubing still fits properly, and then we'll weld it solid and get to going with everything else we got planned today. So that being said, see you in a second. Alright, so got everything set up. I'm going to have to get the dog to run off so don't burn her eyes, but go on, dog. Go, girly. Yep, it's a female dog named Girly. My 4-year-old daughter chose that name. To be honest, I like it. Alright, so like I said, we're going to tack it, make sure the tubing still fits, and then we'll put a bead on it. So here we go. It's relatively thin tubing, so I have the welder turned down pretty far. So, I know, I could turn it up more, but it's not the greatest welder on earth, so it's kind of all or nothing. So, if I give it all, I'm going to nuke it. But for the tack, I just turn the voltage down just to get it held in place. Once I go to finish welding it, I'll just do a bunch of little spot welds, so that way I know it's a good strong weld and the camera won't fall. It's not 100% where I wanted it. Let's see if we can bend it a little without popping that weld. There we go. That's a little better. That's roughly the idea, but I don't know if y'all can see that gap there, but I believe I'm probably going to break that tack and I'm going to scoot it back a little bit. I wanted it against these rails to help give the tubing some more support, because this is way undersized, and like I said, I just want to make sure it has good support, camera doesn't fall. So we're going to go ahead and break it off here, and we're going to try it again. And that is why you tack things. And yep, it did punch a hole in it, but I can fill it with weld, so it's not that big of a deal. So part of my lines are still there. So what we're going to do now is refine the way I got it ground to fit up properly. Scoot it back a hair. I believe that's going to do it. We're going to give her another tack and test fit it again. And there you go. That's a perfect example of how thin that tube is. I just burnt through the tubing. But it is tacked nonetheless. So there we go. That's quite a bit better. At least I'm happy with it, so I hope y'all are. Let me back this zoom out just a little bit. Y'all can probably see a little more of what's going on. Alright, well, we got that, let's clean that flux up around those tacks, turn the power up on the welder, and put us a bead on this thing. That way we can get started on the real project for the day. Hang on a second, I got something better for this. What am I doing all this primitive technology? Alright. So let's turn it up a hair. And now we're just going to start doing some small tacks to weld it solid. Run the dog off again. We'll be in business. Hang on a second, I'm going to speed up the feed rate on the wire here. See if we can pump out some more material, try to keep from burning through this thing. I know they're ugly, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to get one little spot weld in this back corner, and then I'm going to call it good enough. I know my welds are not the best looking, alright? This isn't, I don't know, honestly for this welder, I shouldn't even be using it trying to weld this thinner stuff, but hey, it is what it is. And always remember, I'm not a professional, alright? There's a reason the channel's name is Self-Taught Garage. Well, I'm going to call that good enough. Good enough is good enough, correct? Correct. Good enough is in the eyes of whoever's doing the job. Sorry, the heat kind of pulled it over a little bit, so that's why I was giving her that little hit with the wire brush there, with the back of it. But I'm going to end up changing the angle some more anyhow in the end, so I'm going to go ahead and take the welder off here. Bust out our handy dandy Yes, I know those welds are ugly, but they're obviously gonna hold it on. Alright, I just did that because that's where I welded that hole. You know what I'm saying. Alright, we're going to slide our tube on, make sure it still fits like I wanted it to. And then we're going to have to bust out the drill, get us a D-ring. Sorry, it's just, there's a lot of splatter there, so you get where I'm going with it. Knocking the splatter off. But I believe that's going to do it. I mean, it's pretty solid. Once there's a D-ring in it, to be honest, I don't really see it going anywhere. At least not easily. Alright, so now I'm going to take the drill bit. I am going to get some oil because I know that is still very hot. We're going to lube it, and then we're going to put a snap ring in it. And to save y'all the torment of watching that, I will bring you back when I'm ready to slide the D-ring in. Alright, well, I've done changed my mind. What we're actually going to do, I'm out of D-rings, so we are going to use a 1/4-20 bolt because we have loads of them, because a lot of ATVs are a 1/4-20 thread. Like the majority of ATVs, that's the thread that's in their frame is 1/4-20. So for those of you that don't know, now you do. So we have tons of them. So we're going to take the easy road, drill a 1/4-inch hole, use a 1/4-20 tap, and put a bolt in it. And by the way, my lubricant is just some 90 weight gear oil with a little bit of Lucas in it, just because I had some extra Lucas laying around, and I got quite a few bugs that had flew into that Lucas container, so I wasn't about to put it in any of the four-wheelers, engines, or anything else, so we're using it for drill lube. I also know that yes, there is not much material there to thread, but at the same time, this isn't like a very structural thing. All we're really doing is just doing something to help hold the pole a little steadier than it would be without it. Alright, so now I'm going to grab us a bolt and we should be in business. Got us a bolt and a nut just in case, and 2 washers. What we're going to do now is slide her on. Well, the back side actually did catch some thread. I mean, it didn't grab a lot, but I mean, it's grabbing nonetheless. I know I keep saying nonetheless, and I apologize. Still trying to get used to the whole camera thing. I haven't filmed in a good long while, as I'm sure you all can tell. Alright, that is going to work, but I did not grab the right nut, so give me just a second here. Alright, going a different route entirely. Yeah, I know this is a very odd video, and I'll be surprised if any of y'all are still watching, but I'm making it anyway. All because I said I was. Alright. Almost there, finally. We about got her bid. You know, I may end up just making this its own video. I don't know. Just DIY welding cart camera mount. I don't know. I know ain't nobody gonna watch it, but I've filmed probably 30 minutes of video already, so a lot of that will be in time lapse, like the welding and all that stuff. I mean, I'm gonna time lapse it, but who knows? And yes, I do hate machine screws, especially flathead ones. They are the worst. But still have them for some reason. Probably because I never use them. Alright. Tell you what, it's definitely sturdier than where y'all are at right now, so should be an improvement. I'll pull you over here and let you get a closer look at things, by God. You know, just a random little thing, but hey, felt like getting creative, trying to make a better camera mount. Alright, so, anyways, oh, still got the welding helmet on, but now that that's done, I'm gonna run outside and we're gonna grab the exhaust off the F-350 or the old Ford 7.3, and we're gonna start welding her up right, clean her up a little bit, may even make some changes. I got to do some things to the motor as well on that. It needs lifters pretty bad. So when I do the lifters, I've been debating on going through the hood or doing like a quarter panel exit just to be that guy. For no real reason, just to be the guy. Anyway, but we're still going to weld it up either way. If it comes down to it and I end up deciding to make that change, we're going to be cutting her up anyway. But for now, I want to weld it solid because I'm tired of the soot in the cab. And honestly, who knows? Having the straight pipe fully sealed, I may end up liking it quite a bit and not changing it. So that being said, we're going to get out here. I'm going to pull it in. We're going to have to clean it up, and then we're going to start welding her tight.